Easter, I found myself wandering around Barnes & Noble, as one does for some leftover holiday treats. I came upon this product, a paint by your own bunny kit, made by this fancy chocolate place I have never heard of, called Bissinger's Handcrafted Chocolatier. Apparently they've been around since the 1600s, making chocolate for the King of France and other members of the European royalty, so you know this company is serious about their sugar. As a passionate DIY crafter, I was intrigued by the idea of decorating my own piece of candy for Easter, so I decided to take a chance and purchase this item and see what I can do with it. So, according to the box, this kit should have 1 milk chocolate bunny, 4 chocolate paints, and 2 paintbrushes. So now that I have this in my grasp, let's inspect the contents of this box and make sure we have everything we need to make this bunny looking fabulous before I eat it. Wow. I like that the bunny is in protective plastic casing so that it doesn't break. And it feels pretty solid too, so that's interesting. I assumed this would be a hollow chocolate bunny and not a solid one, so this is going to be very interesting. And here we've got our chocolate paint, as the box put it, about 4 tablets in 4 different colors. And we have 2 paintbrushes. So right now I am actually a little confused by the fact there are only 2 brushes in this kit. Normally when you paint, you can always take one of your paintbrushes, use it, and then rinse it out in a cup of water, and then reuse it for another color. But since we're working in chocolate paint, I am not entirely sure how that's going to work. So this is going to be interesting. So I guess we'll just have to improvise and see if we can make these contents of this DIY kit work for us. On the other hand, I do like the fact that it came with only 4 colors of chocolate paint. I think for a DIY kit, you don't want to overwhelm the customer with too many options, especially if this is the first time they're ever doing something like this. And in my case, I've never decorated candy before in my life. So having only 4 colors to work with will be a lot easier for me. As for the bunny, it looks really cute, I gotta say, and I am surprised at it being solid chocolate rather than a hollow chocolate. It could be that it's since it's meant to be packaged and delivered, it reduces the risk of it breaking during shipping, I guess. So I give Bissinger credit for thinking ahead on that one and choosing a solid bar of chocolate rather than a hollow figurine to work with. So now that I've opened up all the contents and I've looked at it, let's check out the directions. And it looks like the box doesn't have any directions separately, but the directions are instead printed on the back of it. I appreciate that. You know, one less component to worry about losing. And it's pretty self-explanatory too. So I guess there is just no reason to have a piece of paper with directions on it. Okay, so I'll read out the directions step by step. 1. Place each paint color tablet in a separate microwave-safe container. So I'll have to put each tablet in its own microwave-safe container. And then microwave each one on defrost for 45 seconds. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by defrost. I just put something in the microwave, press the number of seconds, and press go, and that's it. So I don't know what they mean by defrost. Step 3, remove from microwave, stir, and put it in for 15 more seconds, if not all the way melted. I have done that with chocolate generally. Just zap it for 30 seconds each, then stir, and then put it back in there for another 30 seconds. Because I remember reading you don't want to overheat chocolate or else it'll mess it up. So we're definitely going to take our time and melt these 4 different color tablets so they come out nice and smooth. Okay, and step 4, decorate and enjoy. Pretty self-explanatory, I guess. So I like that the directions are pretty simple and they get to the point. I mean, I guess there's really nothing to decorating a solid chocolate figurine with colors, but like I said, I've never done this before, so I appreciate Bissinger simplifying the directions for this art project. Okay, so now that I've read out the directions, I think I understand them completely. I now know that all the contents are here as specified on the box. Chocolate bunny, 4 color tablets, and 2 paintbrushes. Now I'm going to go head on out to the microwave and melt these colored chocolate tablets as specified in directions. Okay, here are all 4 of my color chocolate paints. I've got my white paint here, and over here I got my pink paint. Over here is my yellow paint, and over here is my light green paint. So what I've discovered when melting this is that as soon as it becomes smooth, you take it out of the microwave. Don't do it again for another couple of seconds, or else it'll get a little bit more solidified, as I've learned the hard way. So if you ever get your hands on this kit for yourself, just do it for the 45 seconds as specified. My microwave had a soften melt button, so I used that. And that was about 1 minute and 10 seconds, but I think the temperature was a little cooler than I guess a defrost button would be. So I went with that, and it worked. But like I said, as the second your chocolate paint becomes consistently smooth in texture, take it out of the microwave. It's done. Don't need to do it for another couple of more seconds, because you don't want any chunky paint for this project. So now that I've done that, I also took the liberty of getting a paper plate with a paper towel layered on top. So this is where I'm going to keep my chocolate bunny as I'm painting it. I figure it's best to contain my mess in one area so hopefully it won't leave the perimeter of this paper towel and paper plate. I also have some extra paper towels on the side in case things do get messy. I also took the liberty of rinsing these two paintbrushes in some water first, just in case there was some coating on it from the manufacturing and the packaging and the shipping. Not sure if that's the case, but I always say best to be safe than sorry. So I went ahead and rinsed these paintbrushes in some water over the sink, and nothing, no soap. I didn't use any soap. I just rinsed it in some water just to cover my bases. So now that I've done all that prepping, it's time to decorate my chocolate bunny. So cue the pleasantly royalty-free background music. All done. Here is my chocolate bunny with a fresh coat of paint colored all over the place. I've nicknamed it Peter Chocolate Tail for my own amusement, of course. Well, I have to say, at the very least, the directions were pretty self-explanatory, and I had no trouble following them from the box. I would say working with chocolate paint was a challenging experience. From melting it in the microwave just right to working my way around the chocolate figurine with the brushes found in the kit. When it comes to melting the chocolate, I would definitely recommend following directions on the box. I know from past curious research, if you over melt chocolate, it will ruin the molecular structure of it and get pretty chunky and grainy. So I would say as soon as it's melted in the microwave, stir it with your little toothpick, like I have right here, and immediately work with it. It does solidify at an even but pretty quick pace. So if you're going to do this project, I would say put aside time and just get it done right away, because this chocolate paint will solidify, and once it does, it'll be a little more difficult to reheat it in the microwave without messing with its smooth consistency.
As for the actual paint process, I would say it's easy at first when the chocolate is smooth. It also comes on to the surface pretty thin. So you'll have to probably add a few layers to it. In my case, when the chocolate paint solidified, it started to take on the consistency of frosting. So I was able to add a couple of thicker layers on top to make a adequate coating on the chocolate bunny.
I would say the brushes that came with this kit uh, were okay for large areas, but for things like details, I struggled a bit. I was getting my chocolate paint all over the place, especially around here in the eyes, where there are a lot of details, tiny details. So my brushes couldn't quite get in the little nooks and crannies to paint. Also, I will say that my paint job here is not quite as clean as the bunnies pictured on the box. I suppose that's because I am a total amateur at confectionery decoration, and whoever did the bunnies on the box probably has done it for a long time, and they probably had more variety of brushes to work with, and those brushes were probably uh, had better quality than these. I would say you would see these types of brushes at the craft store for probably like $1. So I don't think there's any real hope of having this look professionally done, especially when it's your first time doing it. But, it's chocolate, it's gonna get eaten anyway, so you might as well have some fun with it before it ultimately ends up on a plate ready to be devoured. So I would say temper your expectations, especially if it's your first time doing this. It's not going to look as nice as it does on the box, but I will say I did have a good time making this. It wasn't completely difficult to do outside of handling chocolate paint for the first time ever. So for a DIY kit, I would say this is worth $20 to me. I don't think I would spend more than $20 on this. It's chocolate. You're gonna eat it after you're done painting it. That, I would say, is my review of the actual DIY activity kit. And now I'm going to give it the most important test, which is the taste test, and see if this chocolate is as fine as it claims to be on the box. Okay. chocolate is pretty sweet. Since it's milk chocolate, that's to be expected. It does have a nice smooth aftertaste, I will say. It doesn't taste like cheap chocolate, where it has a sort of a plastic-like aftertaste to it, and you can't quite pinpoint it, but you can taste an artificial component to cheap chocolate. So this chocolate here definitely tastes like chocolate you could get at a chocolatier shop. So Bissinger's prove their worth to me, at least, with this chocolate. And for chocolate that I bought like a week after Easter, I would say it tastes pretty good considering the circumstances. So I would say even after Easter, you find this in the store and you're worried if it's going to still have that nice chocolate taste to it, it will. Okay, so my final review on Bissinger's Paint Your Own Bunny DIY kit is that for $20, it's worth it. I would say anyone from adults to maybe older elementary school kids will enjoy it. I think younger kids might find the logistics of chocolate paint to be challenging. But this is a like a little art project that you could pretty much do in one day. It won't take you very long. And the results are pretty adequate as long as your expectations are tempered realistically. And the chocolate, I would say, is very good milk chocolate. This is definitely the type of chocolate you would expect a company that started making confections for the King of France in the 1600s. I would definitely expect a company that old to make quality chocolate. So I would say 2 bunny ears up for Peter Chocolatail here. Well, I hope you all found some value in this video. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and I will see you next time.